You're watching Leafs Morning Take with host Nick Alberga and former NHLer Jay Rosehill. The show starts now.
Oh, sigh. Today should have been the day that Mike Babcock returned to Scotiabank Arena, yet here we are. It's Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill for the Thursday edition of Leafs Morning Take presented by Betano. I'm sad about that, Rosie. Would have been nice.
Yep, he's definitely not going to be there.
Can confirm that, and it would have been a nice back-to-back of like revenge games, right? You had this one, and then Kyle Dubas and Jason Spezza coming back on Saturday, right?
Yeah, that would have been neat. I mean, I don't know. It's never usually pans out to the hype if you want to hype it up beforehand. Like we already played Dubas. It was a nothing deal. Nobody talked to him. He comes in the bed. He's busy. Everyone's busy. It's just business as usual. And I don't know. I think when guys are in the game long enough, they don't it becomes another game when you play somewhere that you used to be. Maybe a little bit more than that, but you know what I'm saying.
Nola Chari, hopefully he gets his video tribute for his 15 games as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. In fact, I think he could even be banged up right now. But man, just thinking last night, putting the show together again, Mike Babcock, literally, I don't know how he fucked it up or he didn't make it to one game, man. To me, it's still surreal talking about it 3 months after the fact that dude, just don't say anything. Don't do any weird shit. And you're going to coach again in the NHL. And he couldn't even make it to the first game of the season and effectively just ruined the year for Columbus. They've been dreadful. They're 9-16-5, 23 point. It's such a weird story, but it's very Mike Babcock.
But at least Johnny Gaudreau gets to be closer to his mama. Johnny G. Fuck. I don't miss that guy in Calgary, even though they're struggling, man. He's such a puss, but whatever. Yeah, they're a dumpster fire, man. And lots of different ways why. I mean, you look at their lineup, they should be better, but just, distractions have taken over, I guess.
It took 3 minutes for Jay Rosehill to bring up Johnny Gaudreau. If you're an active listener or a viewer of this show, there are two athletes Jay Rosehill hates. Johnny Gaudreau, one. Number two, LeBron James, right?
Yes. LeBron more than I don't dislike Johnny as much as I strongly dislike LeBron. But,
man, the NBA is so wild. Did you see what happened last night? There's a variety of things that have happened in the last 3 days. Draymond Green is suspended indefinitely for his 17th technical of the year. And then Giannis Antetokounmpo. Did you see that last night with Giannis?
No, I saw Green. That was unbelievable, but I didn't see what Giannis happened.
So to preference this clip, Giannis got a career high, franchise high, 64 points. And he somehow got word that the Indiana Pacers, I believe, who they were playing, stole the game ball. So he lost his mind and ran into the room, a la John Tortorella, Shane O'Brien back in the day, only to find out that the game ball was given from the referee to a team security guard. So they had the ball the whole time. But it's so NBA. Imagine this shit happened in the NHL.
Imagine an NHLer. Isn't he the reigning MVP?
Yeah, man.
Imagine McDavid has a good game, celebrating with his teammates. Someone talks to him. He sprints to the other tunnel of the other team, blows the doors off that thing, and just goes flying down the hallway looking for the game puck. It would just be everyone would be in shock. Everyone would think they were dreaming, but the NBA is just special, man.
Dude, it's outrageous, some of the stuff coming from that league right now. Man, I don't know. You don't even watch basketball. They have an in-season tournament now.
Yeah, I saw that.
And guess who won?
LeBron, and they're acting like they won. I don't
know. They're raising a banner. They're talking about doing a parade. I'm what are we doing, man?
What was the format? How many? It was just a European hockey thing where you have the Champions League within the regular league, that type of deal.
Pretty much, man. I watched basketball and I had no fucking clue what was going on. It's pretty much an effort, a calculated effort by the NBA to get eyes glued on the TV in the month of November and the beginning of December before the NBA season starts for real, as we all say, Christmas Day with the juggernaut games. I get the outside the box approach, but I think it's ridiculous that the LA Lakers somehow found a way to win this and that they're raising a banner. It's so LeBron James. I love the guy. I think he's obviously there with Jordan at this point in his career, but some of the stuff in the NBA is just outrageous. It's wild. It's wild. It's wild.
Do you see him come in to watch Bronny as his kid? He was playing in a show barn and he had his kids with him and stuff, but fine. They're not they're 2 years old. He comes in, the anthem is literally playing. He just comes and sits right down, like the whole barn's standing. He sits right down, like, no, yeah, LeBron, make sure you throw the middle fingers up to the outfit that made you a billionaire, you
Pretty
dickhead.
crazy, man. But Bronny James Jr. is coming, and watching the clips from his first college game, holy shit, he looks pretty decent. Don't forget, he's in his
I
first
bet he's good.
college basketball. And LeBron's going to stick around so he can play with this kid. It's all about LeBron. But again, outrageous times in the NBA. But unfortunately, we're not here to talk about the NBA. We're here to talk about the Leafs and the NHL. At the Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube, where you can subscribe, like, leave us a review. Leafs Morning Take is a search where you, wherever you check your podcast, just search that, and we'll pop up. And I should mention as well, bring on the team spirit, just like LeBron. Unleash your inner MVP with the game-changing varsity collection from Nation Gear. Embrace the winning spirit by repping your favorite team with pride. Shop the varsity collection and more at nationgear.ca. And should also mention, coming up on the show in about 15 from now, Nick Kypreos, former Toronto Maple Leaf, former New York Ranger, now the host of Real Kyper and Bourne on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. He's coming up in about 15 here, Rosie.
Yeah, good show. I like the way they break it down. It's a couple of good shows out of there. Nothing that kind of comes up to this level of Leafs Morning Take. But I mean, they're out there, they're trying, they're grinding, and they're putting their best foot forward. So, you got to applaud them for that.
The great thing about Toronto, there's a market for everybody and anyone. If you want to look at graphs and charts all day, you can do that. If you want to listen to Rosie chirp Johnny Gaudreau, you can do that here on this podcast. So we appreciate everybody tuning in, and the ones who don't as well. Brought to you by DoorDash. It's time for the appetizer. For a limited time, our listeners can get 25% off, up to $10 in value, and zero delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more. When you download the DoorDash app, enter code NATION25. That's code NATION25. Uppercase, 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Offer valid in Canada, subject to change. Terms apply. So first and foremost, round of applause. Fraser Minton, former guest like a month ago of this show, and Easton Cowan, both making Team Canada. They're off to Sweden tomorrow, by the way, and Canada's looking for a third consecutive gold medal. It's pretty crazy how quickly the bromance has started between these two. It's very like Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, where like in a short beat, like they're best friends. I love it.
Look at the boys. Dude, Cowan looks like he's 7. That's just like a crazy pick or whatever, though. I thought he looked a little older. He looks different in his bucket, but pretty cool. Those dudes, I like how they're gelling already. There's, there's reason to believe they could play together for a long time on the Maple Leafs. And I just think that Team Canada thing, playing World Jays and the guys that I know that have done it, it's something that made a lasting impression on them, something they never forget, something that they always have like a feather in their cap, that they're always like, attributed to, and guys that didn't even make it to the NHL, guys that didn't have careers that they are long lasting. It's still like, but remember World Juniors when he blah, 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 blah. And it's pretty special to see those guys in all their swag and their garb, and they're on an airplane. Where the hell are they going? It's just wicked. Are they headed over already? Hey, that's so cool. It's starting up. I got to get in the World Junior mindset right now.
Man, I don't know what it is, but maybe as we get older, like you look at pictures, like I don't know if you saw the pic of that 14-year-old who plays in the Dub. He looks like he's 6 years old. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the things kids eat these days or lack thereof, but like, is it just more us getting old, or are these kids looking younger and younger by the year?
Like I would assume it's that we're getting old, but dude, I remember like looking at junior
guys had full-grown mustaches in high school, man.
Dude, full-grown beards. I remember junior players having beards, like they're all bearded and like square-jawed big dudes, and now they're just like, yeah, like they're just like, meh. And it's just like, what the hell? Like they're super skilled and fantastic and good people and everything, but I'm like, why don't they look like men anymore? Yeah. And I mean, the only thing I can say is, it must be because I'm getting old, but I remember facial hair on like all the Red Deer Rebels when I would go watch, and the Calgary Hitmen and the Olds Grizzlies. I was just like, wow, they're big burly men, and they're just not anymore. I don't know, maybe something in the vitamins, something in the water. Let's get our tinfoil hats on and figure this out. Why do these kids not look like burly men anymore?
Man, I remember showing up the summer of grade 8 to grade 9. I show up and I couldn't believe it. Some of the kids, man. Mustaches, beards. I had the chin strap already going, like, and now you look at some of these guys, you'd be lucky for them to have 7 hairs of facial hair. Like it. And again, maybe there are kids in these high schools that we're just not seeing them play hockey where they got full beards in grade 9. But like, it just seems like some of these guys, like, when you get to grade 9, there's always a couple kids where you're like, holy shit, man, like, are you still in grade 5? Then there's some who look like they're in varsity already, like they're in college. Like, so maybe we're just seeing those ones, the younger ones, play hockey. That's my logical answer.
I don't know. Yeah, the rule of thumb would be nowadays is that they all look like they're 10. You look across an NHL bench, it didn't look like that.
True.
And I know the league is younger. I understand like an 18-year-old hardly existed, 20, 30 years ago, but just seems odd. And, maybe just the time and the effort these kids put into practice and all the extra preparation that goes on behind the scenes, they're able to get there younger. But like even, I don't know, we should get a comparison going. Guys in the NHL who look like men and guys in the NHL who look like boys, and just see where it stacks up.
If you want to figure out if somebody's European, just facial hair, chest hair, all that. I mean, we get it at like 7 years old. So maybe that's the key, is that you got to be European, and maybe the hair will come in because some of these kids aren't growing. But again, probably one of our best conversations on this show, bar none, because that was, I saw that picture too. And I'm like, there's no way one of those guys played in the show for 4 or 5 games. There's no way one guy almost made the team at a training camp. There's no way.
I thought Cowan was like his little brother, man, because with his helmet on, I didn't think he looked that young. But Jesus, are these kids looking young? But good for them, man. They're doing special things. It's nice to see some future buds on that World J team, man. That's a pretty special deal.
I'm getting chirped in the chat. I don't feel old. I really don't. But some of the shit I see these days, I'm like, man. I was telling my dad the other day, like, I find more and more I'm telling those stories like back in my day, and I'm like, fuck, I'm only like mid-30s. Like, it's, I don't know.
Quick, boy. Yeah, I'm staring in the barrel. I'm staring 40 down here. I'm 38, and it's like a decade goes by so quick, and then like another one of those. Once I turn 40, another quick decade, and I'm 50. Like my dad's 50, even though he's like 66, and it's like, what the hell's going on? And I remember when my dad turned 40, and it was like, I remember the party, like I remember it, and he was an old dude, so it's crazy man. But hey, we're still cool, we're still hip, we're still doing it out there.
You think kids watch our show, like 18-year-olds, and like, man, these guys are fucking losers.
Look at these washed up dusters. No, I think we're cool. You just gotta keep that beard going, man. Hold it down for us. I don't got much going on.
James writes in, I'm old and I've never had facial hair unhygienic. I have no fucking clue what that means. So
I can see your greasy stash in junior high, though, Nick. You're little talking like an Italian man.
I had the chin strap, man. The only thing I was missing was the Italian like bra strap that the Itals wear. That's all I was missing in my getup.
You know what's keeping us young is Aaron, our producer. He's still hip. He's still down. He's hitting the vape in the morning and kind of like talking in some slang turn about some sick skis and what's the word of the year this year? Damn it! It means like
mid.
No, it's
Riz. You got the Riz. You got the Riz.
Baby, you got the Riz in. Love it.
Kids these days.
With our show before we lose all of our fans.
Yeah, true. No, but that's the big thing today. People can't write out the full words, so we've short formed everything. But anyways, I digress. Wendy's is letting you win real food with your fantasy teams this year with the Wendy's Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool. Sign up to play the Daily Face-Off Survivor Pool to win weekly prizes like the new chicken strips and French toast sticks from Wendy's and the Wendy's app. Head on over to dailyfaceoffsurvivor.com. That's dailyfaceoffsurvivor.com to play today. So it's the Leafs and Jackets. What do you think I'm going to say about this game? You've worked with me long enough.
I think you think it's going to be an auto loss sleeper game where they assume they're going to win, don't come prepared, and get shellacked.
You know me very well. Everybody in the chat is speculating that too. I want to see the Leafs hammer the shit out of the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. Like, if I had one holiday wish, that would be it. The emotional release of winning on Broadway, the JT game, like this has scheduled loss written all over it. I hate it, man. I hate it.
Well, I am opening up my Betano account as we speak.
Love it.
Boop, boop. Maple Leafs, Colombo, Blue Jays. Minus 260 on the money line. Okay, I'm doing it on principle alone. Wham.
Dude, I hate how they make it. I hate how they make it so you can't bet on the Leafs. You know what I mean? Like, why would anybody take that juice number?
It sucks because I want to bet on the Leafs all the time, but it's so juiced, and it's like Tiger Woods when they when he's playing. It's like, dude, do you know how realistic it is for him to win, but his money is just ridiculous because so many people are betting on them. It's just the market that we're in. But yeah, I mean, goddamn, I barely get my money back if I win that bet, but I'm doing it on principle. I think the Leafs are going to come out. I think they've found something. I think they have character. You can clip this clip. They're mature. I mean, all the reason in the world to get shellacked in New York. And I know it's for different reasons, but they're flying high. They found something, and Matthews is hot. Marner's has found something. David Kampf is hot, for crying out loud. Money's on the Leafs.
I like that. And then you can put it in my face if that happens,
I
because
do.
again, I think if you're looking, again, we'll go over Betano actually later on, but yeah, you can put it in my face tomorrow for sure. We've seen this episode way too many times in this Leafs team, but again, it'll be curious. I do think it's somewhat of a trap game. They're on a 7-game point streak, though, Rosie. You got to give them an applaud. I mean, they're playing really, really well right now. 5-0-2 in their last 7 points in 11 of 12. So you have reason to place a bet like that because the Leafs have to be feeling pretty damn good about themselves right now, right?
I think so, man. I mean, like I said, they're finding something. Guys are hot. This team ebbs and flows. They go up and down, and I hope that I'm not sure what the ebb or the flow is. The top there, I guess the flow, or is that what's the high point? They're at the high point of the ebbing and flowing,
Sure.
and the reason to believe they should get going. I hope that it's not starts to ebb or starts to flow by losing to the goddamn Columbus Blue Jackets, and it snafus all their momentum that they got going on right now. But I don't know. I think it's time. You know, we're looking at Christmas here. It's coming down the barrel, and I think these guys are, you know, they need to start hitting their stride and stop doing that silly stuff. And I mean, if they could still lose the game tonight, but I just don't want them. I just don't want that to happen in a fashion that it's happened in the past with their losses to, you know, Phoenix and Chicago and San Jose and this and that. It's like, my God, I hope it's not one of those real stinkers. Anyone can lose to anyone in this league, as we've said, but I hope they show up, and I think there's reason to believe that they will. And my money's on it.
Yeah, your money's on the Leafs, and you know what's going to happen is Johnny Gaudreau is going to net a hat trick in a Columbus convincing victory. Imagine.
I would be eating crow tomorrow, but hey, things happen, man. I just believe. That's all I'm saying. I believe.
You believe. Very, very well done. So it's the Leafs and the Jackets. The following interview is brought to you by our friends over at Battlegrounds Axe Throwing. Book your holiday party now and snag exclusive Boxing Day and Break Week rates. To find a location and book your event, go to battlegrounds.com. Battlegrounds.com is where you go. We bring in the one and only now Nick Kypreos from Sportsnet, former Toronto Maple Leaf. Kipper, thank you so much for doing this. Actually, we're going to get him in mere moments here. I believe his audio. 1 second, excuse me. I didn't read the screen. My bad. So we're going to get Kipper in mere moments. But you look at this game specifically, I don't think we have a starting goalie just yet, Rosie, but who do you think should get the call? I think it's going to be Sammy.
Do you? I mean, I'm going to go against the grain on you here. And yeah, I don't know, man. They've been doing weird things. They've been going backwards. I mean, they go Sammy with the first one of this weekend and then go against the grain on against the Rangers. So I don't know. It's kind of a coin toss, but you think Sammy, I imagine they'll want to get him back in there. He's been sitting, he's been waiting, he's been watching, and, you know, he's the number one guy right now. So, yeah, they'll probably go Sammy.
We're going to find out in mere moments. And I believe, I guess, seeing a tweet from David Alter, Ilya Samsonov is doing his usual starters routine as the projected starter. So there's your answer. It's going to be Ilya Samsonov. But that poses the bigger question. I don't even think it's a question, man. I think you have to ride Ilya Samsonov right now. And granted, I didn't think he was particularly good against the Islanders, but it's more so about getting reps. And the other thing I think to keep in mind, too, is, as I mentioned, I think on the show the other day, was that I think if Jones makes 9 appearances or something like that, he has to go through waivers to go back down to the AHL when Wool comes back. And I think the Leafs are going to be very cognizant of that.
Oh, so if he plays 9.
Yeah.
Like not dresses, but starts or plays.
Correct. Or appears, yeah. 9 appearances.
Just on the bench as well, sorry?
No, he's got to be in the game, I believe.
Yeah, cool. So they'll be cognizant of that. Depends on what the timeline will be like. Those high ankle sprains that Woolsey's got, they can last a while, man. I remember it's a goaltender specific. I just think the style they have to play, the positions they get in, the skates they wear, I think they're prone to the high ankle sprains, and I've seen them last a long time where guys are like, fuck, it'd be better off if you broke your ankle, dude, because this is ridiculous, and they can be really sketchy. So if that were to happen, you don't want to get in the jam where all of a sudden you lose, Jonesy on waivers. Like we had the potential of that happening early season, and there was some pretty neat contract work to make sure that they didn't lose him, with some bonuses being due and game all that fancy stuff in the background. So it's nice we have him, and lo and behold, we need him, and he has stood up and proven that he is worthwhile and that he is worth having. But yeah, you don't want to get yourself in a jam with losing him again, getting salary cap problems going on with him being up and trying to move guys around. So yeah, I imagine, and all the more reason to run Sammy too. Like you said, he came back hot, looked really sharp, then stutter stepped a bit, but he hasn't played a lot this year. I think he's going to need to get a bunch of reps to find that hot spot that we know he can get into.
We're going to get a second game of Noah Gregor on the top line. Matthew Nyes will miss a second game tonight as he recovers from illness, back skating, but not 100%. That's probably the right call. I mean, there's no need to rush anybody back. And on top of that, I'm happy to see Noah Gregor get another shot here on the top line. Like, I think he, to an extent, he looked out of place a bit the other night. But the one thing that has been omnipresent since day one is his speed, man. This guy has to be one of the fastest Leafs of all time, bar none. Like, I'm not kidding. He is that fast.
That's pretty fast. That's pretty damn fast. Yeah, I mean, if I were him, I'd be out there early working with those guys and seeing their tendencies. I'd be watching game tape, like of what their wingers have been doing in the past, about what works, like how does the play develop when those guys score in their favorite spots, and just really paying attention to what these guys want. Because at the end of the day, Noah's not just going to go out there and play his game. He's going to have to adapt to play with these guys to have success, and they're going to want and expect certain things out of him. So I'd be talking to them. I'd be in their ear. I'd be on the ice with them early and late, working on some of those tendencies. And at the end of the day, I think they're going to want him to absolutely jump on pucks with his speed and get it in the hands. And I've talked to guys like that before. And like, say you talk to Phil Kessel about this or that, or you pick his brain, and you think he's just going to have this like scientific approach to it. And he's like, I don't know, just get me the fucking puck, and it's like, okay, that makes sense. And I could see him doing that, talking to Noah Gregor, just being like, buddy, use your speed, get the puck, get it in my hands, and I'll do the rest.
Nick Kypreos now joins us. Kipper, thank you so much for doing this. And we were just talking about Noah Gregor. Looks like he's going to be in the top line again. Is it easier or harder to play with star players when you're a guy who plays in the bottom six?
Oh, hard, 100%. And it's just, it really comes back to how secure you feel about your game, or how much more you think you need to change to accommodate better players. And it's a bit of a tug of war on how far you want to push the envelope to get them the puck, or to make them feel like you belong. And I think I saw a little bit of that with Gregor the other day in New York, but there's no question that he's got tremendous speed and he can shoot the puck. And you just want to simplify it as much as you can without taking too much away from your star players. In New York, I had a chance to play with the great Alex Kovalev on a few occasions. And there'd be times when I thought I needed to come in and support him. And then he'd look at me and go away. Go away. I like my one-on-one situations here. I don't need your help. And I'm like, hey, okay, no problem at all. But that's really you got to have a secure feeling on how far you think you need to get to appease your teammates. And then sometimes, every once in a while, you got to look at your star players and go, hey, I'm dumping it in deep and I'm chasing it just to be on the safe side.
Love it. Kipper, thanks for joining us. I know you pampered TV guys sometimes struggle with the webcams and whatnot. So I'm glad you made her, but
just Justin Bourne and Elliot Friedman, not me.
Fair enough. Hey, I wanted to ask you, like we were talking before you got on here, like this team has a tendency to shit the bed against like Chicago, and then when their back's against the wall facing adversity, they got two guys out and their third string goalie, and they're on a back-to-back, and then they pull out one of their best games of the season. What is it about this group that constantly kind of goes against the grain in those odd ways?
Yeah, listen, at the end of the day, I'll put the finger on the leadership group, Rosie, and say that when you go into a situation against a lower opponent, that's when your stars have to pull the rest of the team up. And I look at Austin Matthews in the last couple of weeks, and his game's changed. I think his focus has changed. His effort has changed. And now he's starting to look like the great player that he is. And it's up to him, Mitch Marner, Morgan Riley, to put an end to all that, to say those days are over where we're giving up easy points to the likes of Montreal and Columbus and Arizona, although Arizona's been much better this year. But it has to be led by example. You want to see that same effort and intensity and focus out of Austin Matthews tonight than you did in New York.
Is it just, to me, it's hard to quantify why this continues to happen. Like, and maybe it's the unpredictability around this team. I mean, you guys play in the league, Kipper. Like, do you have any clue why this seems to happen to the Leafs, or is it something that we just look at because we cover the Leafs and it happens around the league?
Well, no, there's something wrong in terms of your prep or where you are mentally to play teams of a lesser caliber. And I think it's a maturity. I think at times, as great as we can talk about how special the talent is on the hockey club, there are signs of immaturity. And that's where, again, I mean, I'll go back to what I just said moments ago. That's where your leadership group has to grab the room right by the collar and say, not tonight, guys. We got to treat this as if it's a must win. We have something to prove here, that we are ready to go to the next level. And if they don't, if they lay an egg tonight against Columbus, then they plant the seed of doubt in this hockey club for maybe the next couple of weeks. And they don't want to do that. I think they've made strides in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Austin has. Nylander has for the most part this season. Mitchell still score 100 points. Morgan looks better. Like, don't waste the 2 weeks by blowing it against Columbus tonight.
Agreed. Switching gears a little bit, Kipper, down the depth chart. Put your GM hat on or your coaching hat, whoever's making the decisions. If you're in charge, what is your plan with Ryan Reeves?
Ryan Reeves, I said it all along that there's no reason why you would think Ryan Reeves would be an everyday player. Not at his age, not with the wear and tear. And yeah, there are times when he's slow out there. But you can certainly pick your spots on when to bring him in, and, just having the mere energy around him. And, it's been noted and well documented. This guy's energy just isn't on the ice. It's off the ice too. It's coming into a dressing room, Rosie. We've had those guys before where they just kind of lighten the room up. They bring the room up. You can feel their energy. You can feel their intensity. And they can make you more aware of stepping on the ice when something's on the line, i.e. he may be in a fight. He may be in a scrum. He may pull us in a dirtier situation than other players would. So I'm okay with spot duty on that. If he ends up playing 40 or 50 games, 55, good on you. And if it's to the point where a fourth line's rolling, Rosie, and you want to play him in game 1 of a Stanley Cup playoff round, yeah, he's shown he can do that too. But to sit there and say he's an everyday player, I think is unrealistic.
Kipper, I wanted to get your thoughts on Mitch Marner. It really, really has the feel, and you're tapped into this market as much as we are. Just the fan base seems to be souring on this guy a bit. Like, do you think the perception has changed? Like, people are pissed for some reason this year, eh?
Listen, I don't think anything's changed to the moment he was drafted. If you follow the narrative on when he was drafted, and Babcock wanted a bigger defenseman instead of this little mousy prospect from the London Knights, then you will see a love-hate relationship with the Leaf fans and Mitch Marner for the last 6-7 years. I don't get it, to be honest with you. I think, and I've called him the engine of this team for a long, long time. I think he's a special player, and he'll be regarded as one of the greatest Leafs in history when it comes to producing points and being up there with the great leaders of the franchise like Daryl Sittler and Matt Sundin. But there has always been this love-hate narrative with him, and I think it started from day one with Babcock. But in saying that, I think what's also triggered it a little bit more, Nick, in the last little while is the Willie Nylander situation. And can you have two of them in your lineup making $11-12 million? Does one of them have to go? Mitch Marner has a bad game. He should be traded. He has a good game. He should be the one staying.
Yeah.
And this love-hate relationship will continue for Mitch Marner in this city. But you go back and you document his career over the last 6 years, it's been there since day one, and I don't get it for 1 second.
So being as they are what they are and what they've produced in the playoffs, let's say this year all those guys are still here and they don't get it done again in the playoffs. Say maybe they win a round and get swept in the second or something like that. Do you move forward with that core, or do you break it up? And if so, let's leave Tavares out of it. Who of those three are you unloading?
Well, first of all, Rosie, like rewind a year ago, we were having this conversation. Rewind almost 2 years ago, we were having this conversation. So is this the last? Is this the last kick at the can here with this core group outside of Tavares, as you mentioned? Listen, one of them will have to go. I honestly believe that. And, you know, for me, Mitch Marner is more of a complete player than Willie Nylander. He may not be as totally naturally talented as Willie, and everybody needs a Willie Nylander in the lineup, but not to the expense where, you know, you've shortchanged your blue line. I would keep Mitch Marner, but in saying that too, I really believe that with Mitch Marner and 2 years left on it, or one more year left on his deal, he might bring you a higher return if you traded him. He might bring one or two top four defense. He might bring you top blue chip prospects. I think the package to get more back is in the hands of a Mitch Marner than it is a Willie Nylander. But for a 200-foot player, the one that has a conscience for being third man high or coming back hard to defend, for me, it's Mitch Marner all day long I want to keep.
What's your read on the Nylander situation? You know, it's very Shohei Ohtani where like nothing's coming out, which is crazy. Like it's so weird how, like, I wouldn't be shocked, Kipper, if something just flashed in the wire like on a Monday morning, we've re-signed Willie Nylander. Like it has that feel where nobody's saying anything, right?
Yeah, I get that feeling too, and I like him a lot too. I think he's taken his game to another level, and he has shown that he is a special talent for sure. Those soft games when he just doesn't show up are far and few compared to what we saw earlier in his career. But again, if you've proven that you cannot win with this type of recipe of all this money in your forwards, something has to give. And I don't believe one way or another yet, Nick, that, you know, they're at that point where it's like, okay, we'll sign him at any cost. 10 and a half, 11 and a half. Let's just give it to him. I don't think Brad Treliving's there yet.
So you went back and talked about this team taking it to the next level. Are you on board with this team? Do you like this team? Do you think they're going to go the distance?
Listen, what does the distance mean? Do I think they have got a playoff lineup to win 4 rounds for 2 months? No, I do not. Do I believe what I believed that before the season started, that they had a chance to win the Atlantic, or they had a chance to now put together another 100-point season in the standings? Absolutely. They've got some of the best game breakers in the world, and they find a way to show up with the last minutes of a game. And you cannot sleep on this lineup. You ask the New York Rangers, New York Islanders this week, you don't sleep on the Leaf lineup. But, and here's the but, is are they going to be that type of team that could take the Florida Panthers to a 7-game series and win and not get run out of the building? Not sure they have that lineup just yet.
Is there a player out there right now speculated upon or whatever that you think could be an ideal fit for this team leading up to the trade deadline?
Sorry, Nick. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, is there a player out there potentially in the trade market that you think could make a lot of sense for this team?
Well, yeah, it's a top 4 type of D. It's Chris Tanev. It's David Savard in Montreal on the blue line. With the fact that Klingberg's salary is now off the books at 4.1, those are the type of guys that the Leafs need to add a real good layer. I watched Savard last night in Montreal, and big, strong, shutdown type of guy. Not sure Montreal would be ready to give him to the Leafs, but if the Leafs put together a nice package, I think it's very doable, especially where Montreal is at this point of their development. So that's the only focus here. Bertuzzo was out there, and he went to the Islanders for a 7th rounder, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need another guy like that. I think Benoit, Legason, they've done a nice job of filling in. They don't need another 6th, 7th, or 8th depth guy. They need 1 to 4 on the depth chart, and I think that's where Brad Treliving's focusing on.
Yeah, and a hard-nosed guy and guy can play a lot in the playoffs, as you mentioned. Just to wrap, next rewards, love you to talk about that.
Yeah, it's just an app I developed. I helped develop with a couple of guys out of Toronto, and it's an engagement app on live sports, so no different than your betting app. The algorithm will feed you questions. Will Mitch Marner score on the power play? And instead of winning money or putting your credit card in, it's strictly on reward points. So you earn enough reward points, we let you go to Tim Hortons, Starbucks, get a cup of coffee. Esso will give you a $50 gas card if you earn enough points, but it's completely safe. There are no losers. It's just on a strict guess correctly and earn points. So if you go to Next Rewards, .app, and you put a promo code in Kyper19, I'll give you the first 250 points. How's that?
Sounds great. Sounds fantastic. And Kyper, thank you so much for making some time. Looking forward to talking maybe close to the deadline. Excuse me. Thanks so much for this.
All right, you guys have a great day. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Kyper. Appreciate it.
There you have it, Nick Kypreos. Always bringing the heat with some hot takes. Love that. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what this team does, Rosie, over the next March 8th, as we talked about it with Dregs on Wednesdays, coming very, very quickly here. And I think, things have stabilized a bit where the rush is not immediate anymore when it comes to like making a trade. And I think a lot of these guys deserve a lot of respect and credit for stepping up. Legason, Benoit, they're missing like 3 of their 6 defensemen, man. Haven't skipped a beat here. They're on a hot streak.
Yeah, and to Kyper's point, there's no point in going out and getting one of those guys. We've got the guys that can kind of do that and fill that role. That's not where we're depleted. We seem to be pretty solid in those areas, like those lower defensemen, those 7, 8s, and 6s even. And it's like we need that stud or 2 of them, or like that top 2 and 3 and 4 guy would be unbelievable to get our hands on 2 of them without blowing the thing up. So easier said than done, no question, but it makes you realize like what a position we're in to go try to do that when we've got Klingberg's contract off the books. Like imagine that's very unlikely that happens, that he goes on LTIR out of the absolute blue.
I know.
So to get it off the book, if it wasn't, we'd be sitting here going, how the hell are we going to fix this? Like, is anyone going to take him in his contract? I would say no. So it's almost like this gift given to us where we can go shopping for that piece that we so desperately need.
Some good news on social media too. Luke Fox, I guess Sheldon Keefe spoke a couple minutes ago, but he said this on Timothy Liljegren. He's getting real close. I didn't expect that. And it's kind of unique that Liljegren's been out with a high ankle sprain, same thing that Joseph Woll has and is recovering from. So that's excellent news. And again, that would be the 2nd season in a row the Leafs have sort of weathered the storm with a boatload of injuries on the back end. And it's great to see. Like, I love when guys step up. And on top of that, I think it's a great story when guys elevate their roles and their play. And that's why you get these depth guys in the lineup and add them too, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's a feather in your cap that you've got the depth to get it done. And I mean, don't get it wrong. It's not these guys are going out and winning us the games. The big boys are stepping up
Sure.
and winning the games. And these guys on the back end aren't grinding wins and keeping the puck out of the net. We're winning 7-4 and that type of thing. But that's the way this team's built, and that's what our strength is. So they're all getting it done together. But yeah, absolutely, these guys are stepping up and proving that it's pretty easy to be a liability on the back end. And every shift you can get peppered and make that mistake and not get the puck going north and be in the wrong spot or lose your guy. And you can get lit up in a hurry at that position. And these guys are proving that they can handle the load and do what's necessary to, get some points and move up the standings. I mean, they've made a push here recently with all their problems and injuries. And it shows the depth of this team, which is pretty awesome.
I won't lie. I thought you were going to leave the interview when Kipper picked Marner over Willie Nylander. That's not the way you would go, eh?
A 200-foot player. No, I know we're splitting hairs here with, the type of talent that both of those guys are. But yeah, I don't know. Marner just bothers me with his fancy stuff. And, maybe he does back check and try to get in the spots, but it just comes down to the playoffs for me. Are you willing to go to war, which is necessary in the playoffs? And I question if he has it in him personally to even accomplish that, to get to that gear.
Brought to you by Betano, the 2023 EGR winner for both the Best Sportsbook Operator of the Year and Best In-Play Sports Operator Awards. The game starts now. So we talked about it a bit earlier on. I think if you're going to bet, sadly, it's on Columbus, although Rosie has laid the juice on the Leafs. I think the proper bet, if you want to bet on the Leafs to win this game, is regulation. The number is going to be out of hand, but you're getting nothing on the money line. I'm sorry. How much do you put down?
Yeah, it's terrible. I got 0 back, but I just wanted to prove a point. But yeah, I know. I think you go with player props, first period, that type of thing.
Yeah, again, if you want to look at Austin Matthews, the guy's cooking. He's on a absolute heater right now, up to 21 goals. I'd look at a Matthews anytime goal. I think Marner could have a big game. If you want to go crazy with it, Noah Gregor's on the top line. Maybe you look at a Gregor point or a Gregor goal. I think that'd be kind of cool. And then from the Columbus perspective, we can call it the Rosie prop bet. Maybe a point from Johnny Gaudreau or something.
Good luck. Yeah, who knows, man. It's not like he used to play for the Leafs and he's back in town. He's going to stick it up our ass like guys tend to do. It's just a personal problem I have with him. So I don't see that happening.
That's not your guy by any stretch. That's for sure. But I think another guy to look at on Columbus, obviously would have been Boone Jenner. I believe he's banged up right now, but they got to take advantage, Rosie. That's the final say I would say on this game in general. And I think Kipper talked about it. You got to pull up your collar and go to work here. I mean, just take it like any other game. It's easier said than done. You can throw all your cliches out the door. They got to find a way to put their foot down and just win this game and move on. We've seen this episode way too many times. They come off a high against the Rangers. The Islanders played pretty decent. They blanked the Preds. And this tends to be that lull in the schedule. But I would love to see a consistent effort tonight. I won't lie.
I agree with you, man. That's what we're looking for. It's not a huge ask to come out and do your thing against the Columbus Blue Jackets. So the expectations are there. I just hope that the expectations aren't in the locker room, that's going to happen automatically, because I think they've been caught victim to that thought process before.
Very well said. Thank you to everybody in the chat. You guys are fantastic and appreciate all the kind words regarding some of the guests in the show so far this season. We've had a blast bringing this to you a year and a half into this venture. It's been a lot of fun. At the Leafs Nation 401. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. At the Leafs Nation 401, where you can do so. Like, comment, subscribe, do what you got to do. Search Leafs Morning Take wherever you find your podcast as well. Will pop up. Many thanks to Nick Kypreos. Producer Aaron was fantastic. And Rosie, this is one of your better shows. This is like the Rosie flu game. Now, you're always good, buddy. I won't lie.
Well, we're loosening up. We're getting her done, buddy. We're getting in the zone. It's almost Christmas here. So time's ticking, baby. This is the year. This is the year.
Never heard that in Leafs Nation. We're on the road to 6,000 subs, by the way. We're about 50 away. So if you know somebody who isn't subscribed, tell them to subscribe. We're on the road to 6,000, feeling good about life. So that's Jay Rosehill. I'm Nick Alberga. Leafs and Jackets tonight, and we'll talk on Friday for a bit of a recap. And don't forget, we're going to preview the revenge game. Kyle Dubas, Jason Spezza and company coming back to Toronto on Saturday. We'll chat on Friday. Take care.
I hope I got my money from that hot bet I just put down.
Thank you for watching Leafs Morning Take. Hit that subscribe button and never miss a show. And for more, visit theleafsnation.com. TheLeafsNation.com. If you don't know how to spell the Leafs Nation, you know what I mean? But hey, sometimes you never know.